In 2023, we get a unique story about two New York plumbers by the name of Mario and Luigi. They get warped into a magical world of the Mushroom Kingdom, in which Mario has to team up with Princess Peach, Toad, and Donkey Kong to save his brother Luigi from the evil Bowser. So we're going to talk about this movie and help you decide whether or not it's the right one to watch as a Christian right now. Hey friends, welcome to the channel. I am your host Tim, and we exist to help Christians live in the world, not of the world, by utilizing our convictions in the movies and shows we watch. Illumination's The Super Mario Bros. Movie is what we're talking about today, and this movie is rated PG for some action and mild violence. So we're going to dive into the conviction meter, which has 5 convictions that may distract or hinder your relationship with Jesus, any theological themes present within it, stuff that stands out to us biblically, and wrap it up with my own personal thoughts on the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Without further ado, let's dive into that Christian conviction meter. Our first category here is going to be violence and gore, and there is a good chunk here. Granted, this is an animated movie, so most of the violence and action that is a part of this film is going to be toned down as it's all on an animated, family-friendly sort of level, but that doesn't excuse the film from having lots of explosions and fire and a lot of threats to kill and wipe out people, namely by Bowser. He tends to do that within this film. At the same time too, there is punching, kicking, clawing, throwing barrels, shooting missiles, a lot of different things within this film, even chomping from piranha plants, things of that sort. If you are familiar with the Nintendo Mario games, everything you see within those games is very comparable into this film, as that is what it is ultimately based on. There is also a lot of destruction and damage that occurs within this film, whether it's roads, cities, a whole castle, a bunch of different things are kind of exploded within this film. And so all of that to say, we are going to give this a 3 out of 5 in this category. Obviously, there's a good chunk here, but it is still pretty moderate. Our next 3 categories are lust, substances, and profanity. If you're familiar with our channel by any means, you know that all of these wrapped up together means there's nothing. There is no lustful things within this film. I didn't catch any profanity that's a part of this movie, and there is no substances contained within it. If you really want to nitpick here, the idea of eating mushrooms, causes certain things to happen, or eating power-ups, but that is a part of the Mario games. All of that to say, there is nothing to worry about in these 3 categories. They are all going to be a 0 out of 5 here. Our last category is intense/horror scenes. This is not a horror movie by any way, shape, or form, which means there are no horror images to worry about. That being said though, if you play any of the Mario games over the years, there are a few kind of creepier levels, creepier spaces that may contain skeletonized Koopas called Dry Bones, and a few other things, Shy Guys, King Boo, ghosts, things of that sort, creepier dark places with thunder and lightning and lava, things of that sort. All of that is contained within this film as well. Most of that is towards the beginning of the film as well. There also is a torture scene in which a character, his facial hair is being pulled while our villain is asking some questions. That's about all I'll give to remain spoiler free for this film for you, but that is a part of this movie, and that is something to keep in mind. I also do want to keep in mind, specifically for our younger viewers who may partake in watching this film, Bowser and some of his armies may be a little bit creepy or intense for some of our younger viewers. So if you have littles or kids who you're not sure if this is the right movie to watch, I would say check out the IMDB parent guide, which I will leave down in the description below here for you. All of that to say, we are going to give this a 2 out of 5 in this category. The reason it's a little bit lower than the violence and gore here is because of the fact that it is still very much an animated film and is meant for families to enjoy. It's a family-friendly, for the most part, film, or at least that's the attempt. So all of that to say, there's going to be a lot of more toned down elements in this category. So our grand total on the conviction meter is going to be a 5 out of 25. While this is very low in terms of the totality of the Christian conviction meter. It is still fairly moderate in its violence and gore, and it's pretty mild to moderate in its intense/horror scenes. And just like I always say, if anything we talked about compromises your convictions in any way, shape, or form, don't worry about watching the Super Mario Bros. Movie. No movie is more important than your relationship with Jesus, so make sure to keep him first within it. That leads into our next topic as we dive into some theological themes that are present within the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And there is a theme in which Mario kind of goes through within this film, which is the belief and desire that he is made for more. And while it isn't explicitly talked about within this movie, it's a big theme of Mario's character and what he ends up doing and the journey he goes through throughout this entire film. And we can, in some ways, tie that back to us as Christians. As followers of Jesus, we know that God created each and every single one of us for a purpose. The Bible talks about how we're knit together, formed in our mother's wombs, and each of us has a part to play, a piece in the story. While each of our parts to play and our purposes may look different, we all strive for this made for more mentality, and that is highlighted in this movie and ultimately is a part of our lives as followers of Jesus. We are all made for more because God made us for more, and we thank Jesus for that. So that's a little bit there, but again, this isn't an explicit Christian movie. It's talking about a video game. It's talking about a whole fantasy world. You're not going to see a lot of Christian Bible church elements here, but there is still some, pun intended, theological themes that are a part of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Whether it is intended to be or not, we can point it back to our lives as Christ followers. And with that wrapped up, it's time to dive into what I think of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And I grew up playing Nintendo games for a long time, pretty much since I was a kid. My first ever console, other than a Leapfrog, if you know, you know, was a Nintendo console. And I played countless hours of Super Mario Galaxy, Mario Kart, Super Mario 3D World, just so many of the different Mario games over the years, and Nintendo games in general. I've been a big fan of Nintendo, and so when they announced the Super Mario Bros. Movie, that came as no surprise, and it was very exciting for them to give us a film based on the iconic world, the iconic visuals of this franchise. And this film does hit a lot of those notes, whether it's musically with many of the different themes or sounds like a warp pipe or shells, things of that sort. Those are all a part of this film, and they're great little nostalgic notes, even to the character design and the world that is presented here in this film. It's all done very well, very iconic. It's also very bright, lively, very visually colorful, and that makes this film stand out. And that's one of the things the Mario franchise is known for, is its use of colors. In fact, when Universal was building the Nintendo worlds over at Universal Hollywood and Universal's Epic Universe, I know this is a side tangent, but they have specific colors that Nintendo specifically requested that they use because of how much these colors pop and the certain color tones that they want to use. It's executed in this film. I know that was a side tangent, but just want to highlight that as a theme park fan, but also to the point of the level of care that this film underwent visually. It's very, very cool. Now, story-wise, it's fairly decent. It's fairly plain. It's a very easy skeleton to follow of a fish out of water story, a overcome the odds David and Goliath sort of style film. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's meant to be for families to enjoy, sit, and have fun together that all ages can enjoy. So for the most part, that makes sense. It also makes sense because Mario is a brand that is recognizable by all ages, so you want something that everyone can engage in. So it makes sense, although I wish there was a little bit more, especially in the character development route. That would have been very, very nice. It does have a lot of great humor bits in here. I forget how disturbingly funny the blue star is in this film, because, just remind ourselves of this.
Time, like hope, is an illusion. There's no escape. The only hope is the sweet relief of death. Life is sad, prison is sad. in prison is very, very sad. Ooh, fresh meat for the grinder.
And again, the humor here, quite fun. I will say this, I wish Mario had a little bit of a stronger character arc and a little bit more development here, but he still has a fairly decent character arc that is enjoyable and comes to a satisfying conclusion at the end of the film. That leads us into our cast here, and I absolutely love Jack Black as Bowser. I think it's fantastic. They do a lot of beats from kind of the Super Mario Odyssey game, which I wasn't expecting, but the way they do it with Jack Black, it's just fantastic. I mean, if you've seen the film, you know Peach is just... very memeable. And iconic in that way. I still don't know why they did it, but...
This one is from my one and only true love, Princess Peach. Peach.
It's still fairly funny. And Anya Taylor Joy is fantastic as Princess
Peach.
I really enjoy her interpretation of the character. In fact, a lot of the voice actors in this film are very enjoyable. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, didn't expect it to be as good as it was. I really enjoyed his interpretation of Donkey Kong, and I think he was great. Keegan-Michael Key as Toad was enjoyable. Charlie Day as Luigi is fantastic. The only gripe I still kind of have is I'm still a little mixed on Chris Pratt's Mario, although I do feel better after having seen the film now a few times, rather than when it was first announced and we're all just like, huh? It's a little better now, but all of that to say, still a little unsure. Maybe when the new movie comes out, I may feel a little better, but that remains to be seen. Overall, this is a very enjoyable film, and if you're a Nintendo or Mario or just a video game fan, I think this is a must-see. This is a very solid, enjoyable, funny video game movie in a genre that is really not done all that great. This is one of those kind of gemstones on there that is a very solid time. I enjoyed it. It's fun. I wasn't expecting it to be a crazy, think film that, is something that, is going to make me ponder at the end of the day. That's not what Mario's about. And it's a fun, entertaining time with some solid moments, maybe a little too much non-Nintendo music, but a lot of just great moments. And overall is solid. So overall, I'm giving it an 8.3 out of 10. Thoroughly enjoyed this film. But those are my thoughts, so let me know yours down in the comments below. Let's chat all things about the Super Mario Bros. Movie in the comments. And if you're seeing this review before the sequel comes out, Super Mario Galaxy, whatever they decide to call it, I forget right now. Super Mario Bros. Galaxy Movie. That's a mouthful. But let me know if you're excited about checking that film out in theaters fairly soon here. But again, let's chat all things about that one in the comments down below. While you're down there, consider hitting that like, subscribing for us, joining our community here on YouTube if you want to see more content that is geared towards you as a follower of Jesus to help you figure out what movies and shows you want to watch. Stick around. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with us here. We truly appreciate it. It means the absolute world to us. Before you go, there's a few video recommendations here that YouTube is suggesting to you. I have no idea what they've picked. I hope they gave you some good options here, and we'll see you all in the next one.